Welcome to a Tailor-Made Life. I'm Laetitia Donoma, artist, composer, singer, and healer, art therapist. You can find me on laetitiadonoma.com. And today, I am really happy to welcome Luke O'Connell. He's a fantastic person. He's a fire dancer. He found yoga and holistic body, and he decided to start to combine all the things together to help people to get out of their heads and into their body. Using the skills from these teachings to create one-of-a-kind experiences for people to transform old, unhealthy belief patterns to live a more holistic lifestyle. Hello, Luke. I'm really happy to welcome you today.
Hello, and thank you for having me here.
So, what is the goal or the thing that you wanted to reach and that you want to share with the audience today?
I guess with one main goal that comes to mind is last year I ended up in hospital, and that was, for me, quite a big speed bump in my life, because I was on a path and really kind of following my passion, doing a lot of physical things, teaching dance and yoga, and then all of a sudden I ended up in hospital with a twisted intestine. My goal from there was only to get better, of course, so everything in my life kind of stopped. It quieted down. There was no other things I could do other than be in hospital and be present with what was happening. For me, that was a huge realization in many ways, because I had way too many focuses in life. I had way too many projects. I had lots of things happening all at once, and then all of a sudden it all come to a stop, and I was in hospital, and physically I could not do so much because of this problem that I had with my intestine. Basically, physically I couldn't do anything because I was in a lot of pain. I was in a hospital bed for 3.5 weeks. Through this process, first I was in hospital for 3 days before they figured they had to do surgery on me. And then through the process of getting surgery, I still had to go through my recovery. So 3.5 weeks in the hospital, I was completely out of action physically. I could not do a whole lot. I had to get a lot of help from the nurses, the doctors, etc. And each day, like at first they thought I had Crohn's disease. So that for me was quite a big thing, because I know how bad Crohn's disease is, so I was quite worried about that. And then once they cut me open and found that it was not Crohn's disease, that I just had this, what they called, it was a muscle fiber, and it was wrapped around my lower intestine, and that was what was completely shutting off my digestive system. So once they cut me open, they put me back together, and basically I had a road of recovery from then, where physically I couldn't do so much, so mentally I went on quite a journey into breath work and meditation, which is something that I was already doing quite a lot of before I went to hospital. For me, it just amplified my practices, so I could then use these tools to then take me on a journey into my own body and my own mind, deeper than I've ever gone before, because physically I was not able to do so much. I couldn't do yoga, I couldn't walk around so much. I had one focus, one goal, I guess you could say, was to get better, recover. And through this meditation and breath work, I really built a super close connection with my inside world and my mind. Because of this, mentally I was able to stay positive. I was able to see that I was not dying of some disease. I was not getting worse, but each day I was getting stronger. Each day I could see physically the holes that were still in me, where the cut had happened from the surgery, was getting better. I could walk a little bit further each day. My digestive system was starting to work again. I could eat food properly without throwing up, all these kinds of things that were happening again. I could feel my body switching back on, basically. Through meditation and the breath work, it really put me in a place of calmness, and I could really stay present and mindful with the whole process that was happening. It gave me a chance to really just quiet my mind and go deep within, which is very powerful for me because I have a lot of trouble with my mind kind of going all over the place. So this was a chance for me to really go deep. And the more I got my physical strength back, I could feel from my yoga practices as well, and doing the massage, that I could feel certain things were working again. I could move in certain ways that I was not able to move before, so I started walking further. I started walking up and down the hallways, doing small amounts of yoga postures that I could do physically. I started doing little amounts of weights in the hospital. So physically, I was slowly coming back, but I felt like I had reached a whole new level mentally. Because of the practices with the meditation and the mindfulness, etc. So slowly I got my physical strength back enough where I could walk around the hospital without being in so much pain or having help of the doctors and the nurses. And I could see that I was getting better each day. After 3.5 weeks, they let me leave the hospital. I then spent 2 more weeks at a friend's house, recovering even more. Again, very limited amounts of movement. But through my practices of yoga and movement, I was able to really feel into my body in a particular way that I knew I was able to do certain things safely without kind of damaging myself from the surgery. Each day I got better and stronger, and I reached a whole new strength each day, I felt, because physically I was getting my strength back, but mentally I'd gone super deep to a place that I feel couldn't have happened unless I'd gone through something like this. It was such a journey into my inside world that I'm actually quite grateful for the whole experience. I feel like moments of growth like this, they cannot be kind of planned, or, they do not just happen for no reason. So I feel like this happened to really stop me in my life, to slow me down, to really bring a lot of things into perspective. It was like a good slap in the face from the universe to say, just slow down, and to accept help from people, to be vulnerable. Really just allow things to kind of just be and to slow down a lot. So I really put my life into perspective in many different ways. And I grew so much from this experience, so I'm very grateful for it. So yes, thank you.
Thank you, Luc. You told a lot of things, and already, so there is a lot of way for everybody to hear the process, I will say, about your journey. I am wondering if you noticed some, I will say, blockage or some difficulty for you. You told that you were already really used to use breath work, used to meditate. It was already a tool that you knew a lot. So I can imagine that it was more simple to go in this process. I am wondering if you noticed some things who stuck you at this time, maybe some beliefs or some program, if you noticed this. If it was the case, what you did to change this. I would love to hear more precisely what you did, for example, in the breath work or in the meditation, to transform what you felt maybe that you have to transform, to heal and to really restore and to really find back your strength.
With the breath work, like the same kind of breathing you do in meditation, where you're counting the breaths, it brings you to a place of grounding and centeredness. Because I also had a point when I first entered hospital that I had the hiccups for 3 days straight. I had tubes down my throat, I had lots of things going on, and I had the hiccups, and I could not sleep for almost 3 days. And the only way that I found to get rid of these hiccups was to close my eyes and to slow my breathing down to the point where I felt like I was no longer breathing at all. This calmed me down so much, it felt like my heart rate almost stopped, to the point where I was not breathing, and the hiccups slowly disappeared so I could actually sleep, because I was in so much discomfort. And I was seeing the pain and the discomfort in a way that I didn't have to kind of give in to it. I could feel it, of course, it was very discomforting, and I just had to surrender to it at some point. And there was nothing else I could do but surrender to it, or I would go crazy with the amount of kind of, the kind of distraction it was, because I was really trying to sleep, and I had these things, tubes, whatever, there was lots of different things, sounds. I could not see properly, I was very blurry. Yeah, lots of these things where the meditation, of course, has all helped, where I just had to sit and kind of observe what was happening to me and not judge it or try and change it in a way, because I didn't really have any control over it, is what I thought. But once I brought my awareness to these discomforts and pains, I could really see them for what they were and see that it was also just in my mind that I was letting them get to me. I started visualizing that my breath was going to this pain or these areas of discomfort, and I was using my breath to then, I guess, transform or release the pain or the discomfort that was there. Yeah, so I used a lot of visualization to really kind of change what was happening inside me, and it really helped me kind of just change what was happening, and I could sleep at some points because I just totally surrendered and let go of what was happening. I didn't try and change it in a certain way that, I wasn't fighting against it. I kind of just accepted it for what it was, and that really helped just accept the whole process that was happening. And I knew that I was getting better or something like this, so I just had one positive mindset, and that was where I was going, and nothing was going to stop me from getting there.
Wow. What I hear, it's in the process, no matter the goal that we reach or that we want to reach, it's this way of acceptance. I have the feeling that, yes, the visualization, to visualize you, I can imagine putting some love in the place where you felt suffering, to give to your body the sensation that everything was okay, that it can relax. So it helps to focus on this relaxation, recovery, so the body can feel that maybe it's real and start to make it as if it's real, I will say, something like that. And I can imagine that for me to accept something also give relaxing, and from the point that I can accept a situation, I can start also to breathe, I will say, and not to keep tension. It's open to the breath and more peace. I am really wondering, because what I see, what I hear, it's that you have already a lot of positive statement, a positive behavior in your life, and also a great belief about your strength, about your ability to recover, to rebuild all what you want to rebuild, and etc. So I am wondering from where it comes to you, this, from your story, from your background, from your education, from your, I don't know, where you took this mindset, because for me it helps to reach our goal. This positive attitude, I will say, these beliefs on our own power.
Well, to really pinpoint where it comes from is very hard, because it is, I guess, built up over the years of many different practices. From when I was quite young to, I was doing yoga and meditations, and I started doing yoga with my mum in the lounge room when I was very early in my life, and I could see the benefits that it had on her life as she was getting older. So at some point I started implementing yoga into my life at quite a young age. And she also put me on the direction of meditation as well. She bought me the meditation app for my birthday one year, and I started diving into that because I also have a very mind that jumps a lot. It goes all over the place. And I found that meditation helps me calm my mind in many ways. The meditation really helped a lot, and it got me brought me a deeper kind of connection with my body and my mind, and really I could see the benefits of doing that as a daily practice. I could see that it was giving me an approach to life where I didn't have to be so reactive and responsive in such a way that didn't serve me. I could really stop and take my time to see certain things in my life through mindfulness practices. So if something annoyed me or something, would normally make me angry, it kind of gave me a lot more space to see this for what it was. And, I could act upon it in a way that was more serving towards me, in a mindful way. So that was just something I started implementing in my life in many different ways. And I could really just see the physical benefits of it throughout the years as I was doing that. Because it was just, I also loved it because it calmed my mind down in many ways. And just the byproduct of that, I could really physically see the difference in my life and how much it, brought clarity and calmness to my day in many different ways. And of course, my mom and dad are both very open-minded people that they shared a lot. They talked about a lot of things, drugs, sex, all these kind of things. I had brothers as well that were a very open family about talking about everything all the time. So there was nothing that was hidden. I could very much see the benefits of that as well. There's lots of things that I could talk about and share. And I could, implement certain things that would help me along my path. It's helped a lot, having that kind of mindset to be open to sharing a lot of things. I guess I saw the benefits of doing that as well. And I loved sharing with different people, and I was exposed to lots of different people at a young age that were very open-minded and conscious as well, who had lots of these different practices of yoga and meditation and movement and all these kind of conscious body work practices that I started seeing from a very young age and then started implementing into my life through my teenage years and then on into my 20s. So whether it was martial arts or dance or yoga or whatever, I like to try a bit of everything, to say. I try a lot of different dance styles, a lot of different workshops, and I just started exposing myself to lots of different kinds of practices, I guess you could say. Mainly the yoga and meditation is something that has stuck with me for a longer time, and I keep that as a daily practice. And that is, it helps shape my whole life. It helps me approach my whole life in a very holistic way, in building a very deep connection with my body and mind. I follow my excitement. I follow the things that make me happy. I surround myself with good people. And I guess somewhere along the line, it's just, it makes for a beautiful life, when you just keep going on that path if it feels right. And the people that are not so aligned with my growth and what I do slowly kind of tend to disappear out of my life. For sure, if I saw them again, it would be beautiful, but they're not aligned with my vibration, I guess you could say. And along the years, I've just found more people that are more aligned, and I share openly with them and about these practices, and I learn from other people. I learn what has worked for them. I've learned what doesn't work for them. I've tried and tested many things. And I love feedback. I love constructive feedback. I love being criticized. I love tearing myself down, going into my shadows. How much it can help me grow, to go through all these things, the insecurities, the problems, everything. I try not to block anything out. I just bring it all out into the open and transform it if I can, work on it if I can, let it go if I can. I guess over the years I just see what works and what doesn't work. I also read a lot. I try to read a lot of books with people, especially Joe Dispenza is someone I really read a lot of before I was in hospital, and he actually has a lot of meditations on healing and really tapping into the potential of the healing of the body through mind and breath and awareness. And a lot of this stuff is something I really implemented while I was in hospital from one of his books, which is You Are the Placebo. And I very much believe in that as well. We are our own creators, we have everything within ourselves to heal ourselves. So if we can tap into that potential, then I feel like we can, there's no end to what we can actually do within ourselves. I guess that is kind of where the path's taken me in many ways.
Yeah. There is a lot. There is a lot. I could see that you received a lot of creative and constructive program already from your family, that they teach you the way of create, construct, and build your powerful life. And the thing that you point was really interesting, and I think it's really important to choose the person around you, to change also of relationship if it wasn't aligned to your own values, I will say. That it's also a point to build this power life, to be surrounded by the great person aligned to your own values. I think it's also a point to change if it's not the case, but it's not so obvious, because a lot of times there is also this pattern who come from all the human being to be a part of a group. And to change of group, it can be really scary, really difficult for a person to change of surrounding. And I think it's really, it's often that in our society, in the Western society, to do too much, to be pushed. It comes from really the culture, but also our education. So I can imagine that you received this kind of program who told you that you have to do. I don't know, it's a question. And if it's the case now, what is the belief that you carry in your life?
Okay, I guess we'll go first on the things of references and books and stuff like that. I guess my biggest teachers were my parents as well in many ways. They're both very hippie at heart, so they gave me a lot of life lessons in many different ways. I was actually using an app called Headspace, the meditation app, which is something I used for many years, and that just brought meditation into my life in a very easy, digestible way. It was not hours a day, it was like 20 minutes every morning, and it was something I could just implement every day. So that was a big inspiration to start a consistent practice, which then became my own, and I started just doing a lot of silent meditations as well. And I had a meditation teacher once called Nikki. She's no one's famous, but she's someone that's a big influence on me. When it comes to books, I guess I dive a little bit deeper into more emotional intimacy kind of books and stuff to do with relationships, because that has been more my focus over the years. When it comes to meditation and yoga, it's just been very much, I feel like I am my own teacher in many ways. So I feel and I listen to my body, and I do a lot of self-practices, and I see what calms my mind compared to other things. But yeah, Joe Dispenza is someone I listen to a lot of. I have done a meditation teacher training as well. That was with a guy called Dev Om, who has an online teaching school. I did my yoga teaching course in Australia, where I'm from. That was with Being Yoga, and that was actually a really big step in my life, which brought yoga into my life in a completely different way, where I went from just practicing it to teaching it. So that was a big step for me, and I really dove deeper into the philosophy and lots of different aspects of yoga that I was not so aware of before. So that was a really big point in my life. So yeah, going into the mindset of before I went into hospital and after hospital, with the condition of doing way too much is definitely something I felt. Maybe it's a masculine thing or not, I don't know. I feel like a lot of my guy friends also have this as well, where they're trying to just do a lot all the time, just do, constantly wanting to do something, build things, always feeling like they need to be busy. Yeah, so that was something I was just always doing, because my mind was always quite busy as well. And I love to do lots of things, and I feel very restless sometimes if I do not have anything to do. I find it very hard to just chill and relax and do nothing. Yeah, and before I went into hospital, I was taking on projects as a fire dancer. I was trying to teach workshops. I was also working a little bit in construction. I was saying yes to way too many projects because I just wanted to try everything and also please everyone as well, which is something I felt I was doing way too much. I was always trying to help people as much as I could because I just love to, and it's like, yes, I will do this for you and I'll do that and this sounds interesting, and I was just overcommitting to way too many things. And then when it comes to it, I just didn't have the time or the energy to actually do all these things, so I would end up canceling certain things or whatever and not really committing to something. And then when I went to hospital, like I said, it all just disappeared. I had to say no to all my projects. I physically couldn't do all these different things, and I had one focus, and that was just to get better. So it really helped me reevaluate, and also to see what projects didn't actually serve me so much. Certain things that I was just doing because I felt like I had to help someone or this or that. And once I said no to these people and told them like, hey, I'm in hospital, they were totally fine with it. They were also like, yeah, okay, I can also do this by myself or ask someone else. So it was not like I felt like I really had to or something. And it really made me realize that I don't want to do so much construction work because physically that's not good for my body. And I had these passions of wanting to help people through body work and massage and yoga, and that was my main focus. And I just had all these other kind of distracting things that were happening in my life that were taking me away from my goals and my passions. And this really gave me that time to evaluate what I really felt was important in my life and was my highest excitement. So once I left hospital, I really started to get my strength back. This is when I did the second part of my meditation teacher training, and I was like, okay, I can see physically in myself that all my practices are bringing me back physically stronger, mentally stronger. So I now want to really help people get to this state of mind, and I know it is possible through the power of the mind and the things that we can do with discipline and the motivation to do certain things. I really started following my passion in a different way. I had a different focus, and I was not saying yes to projects. I was really allowing myself more space and the energy, and being true to myself with how much energy I actually had to do these things. And that I cannot just be doing all the time, and I just wanted to be. So it gave me a lot of time to just chill as well. So in hospital, I spent a lot of time just to myself, being quiet, not seeing people, and I realized how also distracting social interactions were as well. I wanted to just be surrounded by people all the time before I went to hospital, and I was just using social interactions also as a distraction from certain things in life. And then when I was in hospital, I was like, wow, it was like a big moment to just drop down and do nothing and be silent. And I realized how introvert I actually was and how much I appreciated the silence and time to myself. So for me, that was a huge realization of like, wow, I don't need to be surrounded by people all the time, and that I really appreciate this time to myself. So I actually told a lot of people no, they could not come and visit me because I wanted to just be by myself, which was quite nice. And then I've taken this, into my life now as well after hospital, and I really take the time to be by myself. And it gives me so much more room to breathe and to be with myself and to just work on the things I want to work on. And I can see a year later now from the time in hospital, I can see things creeping back again and opportunities arising and lots of things building up again, and it's getting overwhelming again. And I can feel the same things happening again, like, okay, you're taking on too much shit again. But this time, I can see it clearly, and it's like, okay, this is not going to happen again. And there was one point where I just started taking too much stuff on, and I was working too much and teaching too much. And then I got sick. I got corona. And it hit me hardcore, and it was like another slap in the face. It's like, we told you, it's like a moment for me to realize that again. It was not as hardcore as being in hospital, but for sure it was a moment for me to slow down again. So the body knows when you're pushing yourself too far. It knows when there's an imbalance in your life. It comes in a form of sickness or a disease or whatever, but it always knows. So yeah, I listen to my body a lot more now and try to stay out of my head so much.
Yeah. And it's really interesting because I think when we have a pattern from the past or from, I think we are really present in our behavior. Yes, I don't know if it's a test, but I think it's a question of the process. Sometimes it takes several time to really transform from the basis. And at the same time, when I start really to change a pattern, I am more aware about what's happened and I can act on when it comes back to me. For me, for example, I can feel so disappointed, like, oh, but I thought that it was okay because I did this and it changed and I felt that it changed a lot inside me and now it came back and I don't understand why and I can feel angry against me or have judgment on me and put too much pressure on me, you know, and so I know really that it's part of the process to have repetition. And like said Bruce Lipton, he talked a lot about the repetition. We have to rehearse, to learn, you know, to really reprogram at our age, I will say, because when we are young, it goes faster. But when we are adult, it will take more time to transform. So it's kind of discipline, it's kind of rehearsal. And to rehearse this each day. And my question about this behavior, do you think that it comes from also your education, from your parents? If you remember maybe some sentence that you received, for example, for me, this kind of you have to do, you know, you have to do. It was difficult for me before in my life to rest, you know, to chill. And I could notice it was because when I was a child, if I do nothing, I was nothing. If I did something, if I was participating to the house, participating to the life, creating, playing, or more doing my homework from the school, I was someone. I was looked at from my parents. So I could feel that maybe I will be loved by them. But if I do nothing, I am nothing. I had this belief, you know. I had the feeling that it's also in our society that we are someone if we are producing something. And if we chill, we are nothing. I will say we are not a part of the society. We don't do something for the society. We don't give something to the society, so we are nothing. A lot of persons who lose their job, how much they can feel, you know, unloved and pushed away and rejected. So it's my question more to see if you know where it comes from, this desire to do.
Yeah, I guess, like you say, with the society thing, very much so. That pops into my mind quite a lot. And in Australia especially, it's a very hard-working culture. I never felt like if I did nothing, my parents would not kind of approve or love me. That's not something I felt so much. I guess maybe because I also have like ADHD mind, so my mind is constantly very active with lots of different thoughts. And when I just sit with my thoughts for too much, then it can also be quite disruptive or very unsettling. So I found I had to do lots of things to also quiet my mind. Physically exhaust myself in a certain way, you know, or just have something else to focus on rather than just being in my thoughts. Because, you know, maybe as a younger kid, I didn't know about meditation or certain practices like I do now as an adult. Yeah, I was always just doing things more just to kind of quiet my mind as much as possible, focus on things, be creative, whatever. But I guess it was only more when I started growing up and started working that it was like, okay, everyone just works 40 or more hours a week, you know, I need to be doing that. And yes, you know, and if I'm not doing that, then like you say, it's not, you know, giving to society or it's not the right thing to do or whatever. And I worked in construction from when I left high school almost to, I tried being a personal trainer first and that's what I wanted to do. And then it just didn't happen because I was also growing up, I wanted to party, I wanted to go out, I didn't want to study. So I didn't succeed in doing that, and then I had a point where I was not working at all, and I felt, yeah, like you said, very like disconnected or not good enough for society. I was really stressed out at a point where I was like, oh, I don't have a job. I did not know what I want to do with myself. I had no passion or no kind of goal I wanted to work towards. And of course, being at school, everyone's like, all right, you have to study or go to university or get a job, you know, doing something. And I didn't really have any direction of clear where I wanted to go. So I felt very stressed out, like, what the hell am I going to do with my life kind of thing. And then I had the opportunity to work into a construction job, which is very good money, good kind of certain things. You know, there's lots of things that kept me there for way too long, I feel, because I was there for 6 years. Physically, it was breaking me, but, you know, also it's just what I thought I should be doing. And it also gave me money. And yeah, I was just working hard all the time. So I was doing a lot. I was going to bed quite late, and I wanted to go out and have a social life as well. So there's lots of things I wanted to do, you know, have a normal kind of life, but as well as work a lot of hours. So I just wanted to do a lot. So I was constantly doing things because I just felt like I had to. Yeah, I guess it just felt like there was a pressure to do that all the time, and it gets drilled into you after a while. And then when I left construction to kind of follow my passions more and go traveling, that's when I realized like how much it was actually breaking me in many ways, you know, working so many hours, pushing myself to just earn lots of money to do what, you know. I was that kind of mindset got brought into me, I guess. And over the years, I've kind of deconstructed that mindset in a few different ways, and through meditation, mindfulness, whatever, seeing certain things in my body that just weren't, you know, agreeing with that, doing all the time. So yeah, I was very encouraged by my parents to also follow myself and my passions, and they're very supportive of me doing that as well. So my mom loves that I'm a dancer and an artist and all these different things. And you know, my brothers are still working very hard and lots of hours, and they also love what I do, you know. So it's nice to see the difference of lifestyles and how it's kind of unfolded for me in many different ways.
Yeah, what I can see in this, you know, in this way of doing and be someone about this, and also giving, and I have the feeling about what you said from your surgery, and that you started also to step out of the, I will say, I don't know if it's the good word, but like kind of consummation of relationship, to be surrounded all the time and to have a big social network. And so you gave to yourself time, and you had this pleasure to be with yourself. I have the feeling to have a good balance. It's also to have this time with oneself, to have the time to breathe, and to, of course, to nourish our relationship that we have, but it's also to nourish the relationship that we have with oneself. And that in this way of consummation, a lot of work, a lot of relationship, a lot of social network, a lot of things to do, I have the feeling that in this way I lose my relationship. My first relationship is with myself. And if I want to have a good balance, a good happy life, I have to find this balance in between the time that I give to myself, the time that I give to the others, the time that I give to the society. I don't know if it's the truth for each one, but I have the feeling first that the relationship with oneself is the most important thing. But it's my point of view. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that we saw all your process, I guess. If you feel that you forgot to tell something about your process, about your recovery, about the time that you have now from this process.
Yeah, I guess I just want to touch on the things you just said a little bit, because I also resonate with it. Yeah, it is very hard, and it's a journey because, you know, we also have social media, we have Facebook, all these kinds of things, which of course play on this aspect of our life. You know, we are social creatures and we want to connect with people, and we can do that now at the tap of a button with our phones, which makes it very hard to be with ourselves, Because, if I'm by myself at home and I don't have any friends there, I can instantly pick up my phone and connect with people. So this is also quite a journey for me. And I feel it is for many, many other people as well that I've talked to about this. And a lot of people also feel alone as well in that sense because, I don't know, when they feel like they have to be with themselves, they cannot be with themselves because there's such a disconnection from that space, because they can so easily just be with someone else and connect on Facebook or whatever. And when they don't have that, they find it very hard to be in their own space. So I also find it very hard sometimes, to really just be with myself and be in my own company and not feel like I'm missing out on something, So it's a journey, and I treat it like a meditation. And when I feel the urge to message people or hang out with people, I sometimes just close my eyes and I breathe. And I just sit and I go, okay, do I really need to talk to this many people now or see this person? And no, I just kind of sit with that feeling and I let it sit there, and then most of the time it transforms and I come back to myself, and it's okay to just be by myself and be alone and to integrate. So this is something I found is very powerful for me, and it is a mission because I very much love connecting with people in many different ways. So it is a continuous journey, and it is hard, but it is also a beautiful lesson, and it's a beautiful challenge that I try and implement in my life as much as possible, these mindfulness and meditation teachings. So it can be applied in many different ways, whether it's recovery or, dealing with thoughts that, or whatever, interactions that you feel you have to do. It's nice to just stop and breathe and see if you really need this thing to happen right now and then in that moment.
So thank you, Luke. And it can be great that you share where we can find you.
So my name is first Luke O'Connell. So I'm on Facebook as Luke O'Connell, and my business is Elemental Fusion. And that is two separate words, Elemental Fusion. I will have a website up soon, but for now I'm just on Facebook and Instagram. And I teach meditations, yoga, dance, movement. I give massage. I do lots of different things. So if you find me on there, send me a message and we can connect.
Thank you, Luke. We will say goodbye to everybody. Thank you to listen us during this time. Thank you for all your sharing. Really, I'm really touched. It was really fantastic to hear your story and all your tools and your process. So thank you very much to give yourself. I feel your open heart and all the power that you have. Bye, everybody. Bye, bye, bye.
Goodbye. Thank you.